Hello, I'm Steve. Thanks for visiting the Patio Heat channel, where we provide visual concepts of infrared heating as well as tips for ideal patio comfort. Check out our patioheat.com website for sales and more information. Please tap that like button if you find this video useful, as it helps others find our channel. Now let's get heating. Alright, so here we have this residential application, and we have basically two different seating areas. We have this dining space here, and then we also have just a reclining space. Now this also might be used for just like gathering, standing up here in this area alone, but I just have it as a reclining area for right now. You'll see that there's two different elevations, and I have this as just a sliding door, but this is going to be some sort of accordion door, possibly, or you can see that I have this hinged here and swinging all the way out, something that we need to consider. Also, this is, I'm assuming, all glass and steel frame. If that's true, then we're going to be looking at just the consideration of overheating glass and not heating glass evenly, so that might be the only issue that we have to deal with, which would mean that you just need to really pay attention to leaving the door open right underneath the heater. It's non-combustible, so that wouldn't be an issue with that. If I'm correct on the fact that this is steel frame with glass only. Alright, anything else? Let's go ahead and look at the dimensions, overall dimensions I have here. So from outer post to outer post, I have 19 feet. I have a depth here, it's not shown, but this is 8 feet depth there, and I have 11-foot depth over here. I have a 13-foot span here, and you can see I did a couple other just, general measurements. This is edge to edge, and then the inside edge of the 6-inch post here to the 6-inch post, that adds another inch there, or excuse me, 2. And just general information here, 1910 on this outer edge here. One important issue is going to be this 3 foot 2.5 inches on center to these supporting beams going across, and then also this 1 foot 6 inches or 18-inch center to center on the joist underneath here. We do have 9 foot 3 to the bottom, 10 foot to the top, and over here I have 8 foot to the top of the lattice work, an 8-inch beam here going across. Alright, I think that should be about it. Let's go ahead and turn that off. So I have two different options here on this particular application. Option 1 would be to place the units in this kind of configuration. Now, in order to do so, you'd have to put some kind of cross member over here so you can add a support so that your heaters are, I believe I have these at 9 foot center to center. And with that, you can see you got a nice footprint of heat here that would cover this whole space. Now, talking about that clearance that I mentioned earlier, so there is a bottom clearance here of 18 inches out and then 36 inches down. You don't want to penetrate a piece of glass unevenly, so this would be a cold piece of glass, and this would be superheated, especially up here in this corner, and it wouldn't be expanding and contracting properly. So if this was a steel frame and all glass and non-combustible, this would be legal. However, you would not want this to shatter by leaving this door open in this configuration. If this accordion was an accordion door and it slid all the way open, you could leave it open here in the middle, but you do not want to do this right here. All right. Other than that, you can see the clearances to combustibles are all met in this particular design, so that's not an issue. Over here with the beam, and I should mention here, by the way, these are CD 5024 5000 watt 240 volts. These are dual element units. And these are 4,000 watt units, called the C model 4024. So a single element, 4,000 watts, 240 volts. Now the height of this heater from the lattice down to the bottom edge of the heater, I believe, is 7/8 of an inch. So we're just 7/8 of an inch below this 8-inch beam here that I had mentioned earlier. Now, if this beam is anything taller than that 8-inch or taller than 8 7/8, then you'd have to lower the heater to meet the clearances to combustibles, which I hope you can see here. Hold on one second. Let's see if I can arrange this a little bit better. So you can see this line right here. Well, right across the top here, and you can see that it's just 7/8 below this beam here. That's because the bottom edge of the heater has 18 inches out, 36 inches down, and 18 inches on all four sides basically. So we're not penetrating this beam, and we're not penetrating anything here in the house area here. So this would be a second idea. Now you can see that this is off center because there's 1, 2, 3, 4 places open. So the only thing I could do is something like this, or move them really close, and then you'd have a superheated area right here. I do have another option here I'll show you in a minute. So I just essentially put those in the center so that we do meet the clearances above the heater, which is 6 inches from left, 6 inches, sorry, 6 inches on the left, 6 inches on the right, and 6 inches on the two ends, as well as 6 inches all the way above the heater itself. So that was why that one dimension that I mentioned earlier, this 3 foot 2.5, is important, because we need to make sure we have that clearance above. All right, see if there's anything else. So you can see the footprint of heat with this application is fairly good. These are longer, 61.25 inch, and these are 39-inch long units over here. They are dual elements, so they're much more intense. That's why I put them at this elevation height, because I want to make sure that the intensity is proper for seating area down below. All right. Now you can see this patio actually does come out further here. I have this extended piece here, but I couldn't fit anything further out without, bringing the heater way out here. Even with a 39-inch long unit, it just didn't look right, and I still need to be 18 inches away from this cross member beam here. All right, so let's go with the option 2. I'm going to turn that off, and here we go with option 2. Oops, here we go. So option 2, you'll see that I've moved these two 4,000 watt units. They're awfully close to each other. However, I just think it looks a little bit more uniform. It's still tucked away in here, so if you're inside the residence, it's not like you'll notice them very strongly. But one thing that's important is that we are still meeting that 6 inches of clearance on the sides. So this would be that 6-inch clearance. So I'm from this edge of the heater to this beam, I'm 6 inches over, and then attached it to the lattice work here as well. And we're still at that 7/8 below this beam here, so our bottom clearance still is adequate. And of course we're over here looking good, and then I'll go ahead and show you the ray. So now we have a lot of overlapping here, which is, with the 4,000 watt unit, I think is just fine. Still shouldn't have to use a control system with that application. And we got really good coverage here to the left and right. You can see that we're just missing the ends of this 6-top table here. Now on this side here, I put 6,000 watt units. You'd have to manage the attachment points up here by putting another block across this area here and this area here. You probably want something more like a 2x6 and make it flat, so that your flat piece of this is a 6-inch wide bracket, so that would fit in there appropriately. 6 inches below these joists, that's very important. And you can see here with the door open, that does not become an issue. And now by the time this ray is reaching down here, the intensity is not high enough to make this really shatter, so I would not be concerned about that whatsoever. I believe I have this out at about 2.5 feet. Let's just check that out real quickly here. I'm going to turn these clearances off for a second. And whoops. I'm going to go from this outer edge here, which would be the frame. And yeah, we're approximately 3 feet 4 inches to the center of the heater to the inside edge of this. I have it at a 6x6 or 6x8, I think is what I have here. All right, let me turn that off here and go back to these. So I like the coverage a lot better, but you can see this is a lot more intense of a unit. It's lower than the 5,000 watt units. It's lower by approximately, excuse me, I'm sorry, that's not lower at all. But it's a more intense unit, and you can see that the height is designed for a little bit higher of an application, so you might want to consider either a duplex switch so that you can turn one element on, one element off, or a control system where you can dim the system 100% to 1% on and off. You can put this on a single zone, or you can put it on a dual zone, and then if you did that, you might want to go ahead and put this on a zone as well, and that just gives you a little bit more flexibility. All right, well, I hope this has helped. If you're looking for some assistance with your outdoor heating application, you'd like us to review your plans, please send your information into designs@patioheat.com. I'm Steve. And please tap that like button. You know, we're not monetized, we don't advertise with YouTube, and therefore they will not promote our channel unless we receive your thumbs up. So thank you so much for that. Have a great day.